Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Arena. It is the Thursday edition of the show. It means there's one more to go for this week. More importantly, it is the 10th of March 2022. I welcome you to today's edition. Definitely we'll be reviewing the Champions League action we saw last night, where Real Madrid proved a stunning comeback could happen, especially against the big giants like PSG. And for PSG, the wait continues when it comes to lifting the UEFA Champions League, and let's see if this current project will actually suffer some more, or in the nearest future, possibly in a year or two, they will get to win that elusive UEFA Champions League title they've long sought for several years. Welcome once again. I'm Samson Oloyede. Let's delve into the thick of things as quickly as possible because we have so much in store when it comes to today's edition of the show. And we're definitely starting with the UEFA Champions League, where Manchester City were able to progress into the quarterfinal stage despite playing a goalless encounter against Sporting Lisbon at the Etihad Stadium. And this was a match that was as good as a dead rubber affair, considering that Manchester City won by 5-0 in the reverse fixture that took place in Lisbon 3 weeks ago. But this time around, there were no goals at the Etihad, and City were definitely proud to just ride it out when it comes to maintaining the scoreline. So for Guardiola's men, yes, there's still so much to do when it comes to winning that UEFA Champions League. Last year, they were finalists, lost to fellow Premier League rivals Chelsea. This time around, they're into the quarterfinals, even as Pep Guardiola seeks his first UEFA Champions League title ever since he left Barcelona. Let's see if Manchester City can get it done. On the night, though, they were the better side and should have gotten the win. Sporting Lisbon were also able to prove that they could stand the test of time, and you know, the first leg result was just some sort of off day, as it were. But for Manchester City, it's a good one. You had likes of Phil Foden in the mix. There were also a bit of young lads that Guardiola, gave playing time to, and that's as a result of the fact that the match itself was signed, sealed, and delivered. You had the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, even Riyad Mahrez on the bench. And then for City, considering their run of form, definitely these big players, talking about the regulars, would definitely need time off in terms of rest and recuperating from the wear and tear of the body. Let's go on a very short break now. When we return, we'll be talking about the biggest comeback at this year's Champions League, and that's between Real Madrid and PSG, where Karim Benzema's hat-trick ensured that PSG has to wait for another season for the UEFA Champions League title. Now it's time to talk about the big one that took place last night between Real Madrid and PSG, with Paris Saint-Germain leading by a lone goal prior to the return leg, and that was courtesy of Kylian Mbappe's late strike about 3 weeks ago. It started like a deja vu once again for Real Madrid as they considered a goal, Kylian Mbappe getting PSG 2 goals up on aggregate. But within the space of 17 minutes, Karim Benzema came up with a magic touch, scoring a hat-trick to ensure that Real Madrid progressed into the quarterfinals at the expense of PSG. And for PSG, this is another talk of so close yet so far when it comes to the Champions League. They started well over the first leg, and the second leg as well, it looked like it was all about PSG, but within 17 minutes their dreams crumbled, and the big question marks regards Mauricio Pochettino's stay on the job when it comes to PSG, because it's not looking too good for him, having also crashed out from one of the French Cups. And right now the question marks regards the team as well. This is a team that can boast of the likes of Lionel Messi, Sergio Ramos, Neymar, Kylian Mbappe himself, Angel Di Maria, a host of world-class players. Not being able to hit the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League is definitely a low point. But for Real Madrid, the dream continues when it comes to achieving the double. They are clear of when it comes to the Spanish La Liga, and in Champions League they're now into the quarterfinals. Remember, the man who won them La Decima, that is the 10th Champions League, is the one at the helm of affairs, Don Carlo Ancelotti, and you have to give him his flowers when it comes to football management across the globe. So Real Madrid into the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. For PSG, so many question marks, and I'm sure in the coming days there will be decisions that will be made, either in terms of overhauling the squad or possibly changing the manager. Although you had the sporting director Leonardo confirmed that Mauricio Pochettino is still part of the project, as I put it, but that's also relative, considering the season will end soon, and Manchester United are also linked to Mauricio Pochettino for the full-time job at Old Trafford. Let's move away from there now and talk about the various fixtures coming up today. You have Premier League matches. You also have Europa League and Europa Conference League today being Thursday. But we'll start with the Premier League, and it's about Chelsea, who will be taking on Norwich City. Chelsea will be looking to cement third spot when it comes to the Premier League standings, and for Chelsea, they can't afford any slip-ups considering Arsenal's run of form, and Arsenal are the ones right behind them. You also have the likes of Spurs, Manchester United, and a host of others trying to push for that top 4 finish. So it's Chelsea against Norwich City. On paper, it looks like it's a straightforward win, but when you consider that in recent times, Chelsea have not really been at their fluid best, you can also, realize that this could be a banana slip, wherein, a banana peel, I beg your pardon, wherein Chelsea can definitely slip and drop points. It's away from home, and it's at the Carroll Park. Let's see, Road, I beg your pardon, Carroll Road. Let's see if Norwich City can get a win to spring up some sort of resurgence, even as they fight relegation. It's not confirmed, although it seems like it's signed, sealed. It's just yet to be delivered when it comes to Norwich City's relegation from the Premier League. But for Chelsea, it's going to be a full squad. Lukaku is in the mix. Yes, he's lost the starting position to Kai Havertz, but is also getting back into scoring goals. Remember, I also got the winning goal for Chelsea last week when they played against Luton Town during the FA Cup. So full strength when it comes to the squad for Thomas Tuchel. Let's see how he's able to get past that. Let's move away from there now and talk about the Europa League as quickly as possible, and we'll start definitely with the big one, perhaps the biggest on paper, between Sevilla and West Ham United. Sevilla and West Ham United, that's a Europa League match you should watch out for later tonight, and it's going to take place in Seville, even as Lopetegui is looking to steer his word to another Europa League title. No team has won the Europa League as much as Sevilla. Remember, they won 3 on the trot at some point. So you have, the famous Unai Emery winning 3 successive Europa League titles for Sevilla in the late 2000s. So let's see if they're able to make it count once again. This is their competition, and definitely they can make it count against the West Ham side that struggled of late, although have a very good record when it comes to European matches this season. For West Ham, Declan Rice is also in the mix to play, and you have Mikel Antonio as well. And let's see if they can make it count away from home. It's a 2-legged affair, and definitely this first leg will definitely have an input. Moving away from Sevilla quickly now to Barcelona. Yes, the Catalans will be at home at Nou Camp and will be taking on Galatasaray, that's the Turkish giants. Now for Barcelona, it's been a resurgence ever since Xavi took over the helm of affairs. Didn't start smoothly. There are a few matches that they had to, roughen it out, but they've been able to push into the top 3, top 4 of the Spanish La Liga, and now finding themselves in uncharted territory, talking about the Europa League. They'll be looking at getting 1 title when it comes to, the possibility of winning a title, because the Spanish La Liga is out of their reach, and definitely the Copa del Rey is also out of their reach. So this is the only realistic chance of Barcelona winning a title, and I'm sure Xavi will want to continue the resurgence that his team has had ever since he took over in November. Let's see how that pans out. Let's move away from there quickly and talk about Leicester City. Yes, Leicester City will also be in action today, and this is a really, really tough one for them. It's a stand test, as they will be playing French giants Reims, who will be confident going into this one. For Leicester City, Jamie Vardy is not playing here, and that's a big minus for them, considering how influential the 35-year-old is for them. He has scored 12 goals in 24 matches this season and is their joint top scorer. This is coming despite, missing over 3 months of actions cumulatively due to injury. For Vardy, it is another setback for him, considering he suffered a hamstring injury that ruled him out for about 10 weeks, which is over 2 months, and he just returned less than 2 weeks ago. Now the knee injury will keep him out of action for another 4 to 5 weeks, but it's yet to be seen how Leicester City will be able to recover. They've got replacements though. You have Nigeria's own Kelechi Iheanacho in the mix. There's also another Nigerian there, Ademola Lookman, who just made the switch to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You also have Patson in the mix as well. So many options for Brendan Rodgers when it comes to replacing Vardy, although no one can definitely be like Vardy when it comes to the history of Leicester City. Let's see how they're able to navigate that. They will be playing at King Power Stadium against Reims. Now let's move away from club football and talk about international matters. It's all about the Russo-Ukrainian war, which is ongoing in Ukraine right now. And now the Ukrainian FA are calling for one of their own to be stripped of his awards and titles he has won. And that's talking about Ukrainian football legend Anatoly Timoshuk. Now Timoshuk is currently the assistant coach for Zenit St. Petersburg, a Russian football club, and he has been at that position for over 5 years. But his silence amid the war going on in his homeland has definitely called into questions his loyalty and patriotism to the nation. Hence, the Ukrainian Football Association are now calling that he should be stripped of his titles and awards that he has won over the years. This is a player who played 144 times for his nation. He played for big clubs like Shakhtar Donetsk. You have Bayern Munich in the mix as well, even Zenit St. Petersburg. He won the UEFA Champions League as well with, Bayern Munich back in 2013. He played for Ukraine from year 2000 to 2016, and he's the most capped Ukrainian when it comes to national team football with 144 caps to his name. But for all of his achievements, his silence in the midst of the invasion of his homeland has called for sanctions and stripping of his titles and awards. Let's see how this pans out. The man is actually torn between supporting his homeland and also probably keeping his job. Remember, as I said, he is the assistant coach of Zenit St. Petersburg, which is a very big club in Russia. As a matter of fact, it is the most successful in that regard.